Android users, you can now have TYT in the palm of your hand. Our TYT app is available for download in the Google Play Store. Just go to tyt.com/app to find out more.
As we all know, Donald Trump has revoked the security clearance of John Brennan. He was the CIA director under the Obama administration. And now Trump is saying that he is likely to revoke the security clearance for Bruce Ohr. He is a Justice Department official. And Trump has some beef with him because Ohr's wife, Nellie, worked for Fusion GPS during the election. Fusion GPS was the research company that essentially found the information for the Steele dossier. You know, where we found out about the whole PP thing and the apartment or the hotel. Yeah, we all know. We all know. Now, of course, Trump wants to revoke his security clearance as a retaliatory effort. And here's what he has to say about it in the next video. Take a look.
I think Bruce Ohr is a disgrace. I suspect I'll be taking it away very quickly. I think that Bruce Ohr is a disgrace with his wife, Nellie. For him to be in the Justice Department and to be doing what he did, that is a disgrace. That is disqualifying for Mueller. And Mr. Mueller has a lot of conflicts also, directly yourself, so you know that. Mr. Mueller is highly conflicted. In fact, Comey is like his best friend. They should be looking at Bruce Ohr and his wife Nellie for dealing with, by the way, indirectly Russians. They should be looking at Steele. They should be looking at all these FBI guys who got fired and demoted. It's a really weird, it's not us.
Okay, as I watch that, all I can think about is what it was like to be in high school in a feud. Like, Mueller is so conflicted. Like, Comey is like his best friend. And so, conflicted. Like, I mean, if it was his language, the way he carries himself, the arguments that he's making. First of all, after it was discovered that Ohr's wife, Nellie, worked for Fusion GPS during the election, he was actually demoted in the Department of Homeland Security. I'm sorry, the Justice Department. And yeah, I mean, Bruce Ohr, the only reason why he's targeting him is because of who he's married to.
Yeah, so a couple of great things here. Am I the only one that's, like, he literally looks like a clown?
Like his hair, someone messed with his hair a little bit.
But his face is so insanely orange.
I was wondering, was that the TV or was that how he looked? I'm serious, is he that bad? He looked really, you're right. He looks almost, he should see a doctor.
Well,
something's
he
happening.
Did, and then he raided his doctor's office and stole the files, which is a true story. Like, we went past that unbelievable story. He raided his doctor's office and stole his own medical files while he was president. Anyway, back to this. So if Ohr has his security clearance revoked, he would be the only one that is actively serving the government. All the other guys that Trump is targeting are former officials, so then Ohr would have to be fired because he can't work at the Justice Department without a security clearance. So this is in essence asking to fire someone that he perceives to be investigating him. He says, I don't like that they're investigating me. Sarah Huckabee Sanders later is going to lie and say it doesn't have anything to do with the Russian investigation. She has a big problem, which is that Trump won't shut his mouth, saying it's about Russia. It's about what I call the rigged witch hunt.
Yeah,
like it's clever.
He had an interview with the Wall Street Journal where he specified, he clarified that the reason why he was revoking security clearance was because of the Russia investigation. He can't stop himself from incriminating himself. It's incredible.
Well, he's addicted to power, you see. So when you let him get rid of Brennan, take away his clearance. Now he goes, oh, I'm going to start taking away. This is great. He's addicted to the power. And to your point of his vocabulary and the way he speaks, this is totally true. I have a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old. My son, the 10-year-old, loves to read. The 7-year-old is always a little hesitant. You got to push her to read. And the way we encourage her to read, we go, listen, if you don't read and improve your vocabulary, you're going to sound like Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I swear to God. And she goes and reads. I swear to God. What president is going I think I'm not tremendous.
Is like buddies, like besties.
There's
with
5
Mueller.
words that he uses over and over again.
I know.
But it's not just his vocabulary. About Nellie, the wife, in an earlier tweet, he had said, his very attractive wife, Nellie.
No!
Yes, like, why are you talking about this? She's attractive.
He's like,
serious?
Yes.
No.
And I guarantee if someone asked me, he'd go, I was very conciliatory. There was compliments involved. The flowchart was Bruce Ohr to Nellie, to Mueller, to Comey. to Russia back to the P tape, because it's about Fusion GPS in the original. So in that 35 seconds, he went through all of this because someone told him, by the way, the Mueller and Comey best friendship was also something else that a Breitbart writer had exposed back in the day. So he's connecting everything that's somehow in his brain is firing off at all cylinders to figure out what he can say to get the hell out of it.
I think he takes, like you're right. I think when we hear news and we consume some of it, and sometimes you don't quite have all the facts, and then you go to tell somebody, did you hear what happened? And then he's just taking the little bits and pieces that he thinks, so that he's just throwing out names and words and kind of connecting them. And the fact that he put the attractive wife means in the back of his mind, he's thinking, someday I might try to hit on her. Let me keep this open.
Amazing. It's amazing. Is she hot? Like, I
don't know.
I don't know.
I'm gonna Google her.
Okay, so there's more to this that I really want to get to. So look, when Trump revoked the security clearance for Brennan, both Democrats and Republicans criticized him for that, okay? And you also have members of the intelligence community coming forward and saying, this is unacceptable, we can't have this. So in reality, people don't think this is a good idea. They see this as a First Amendment violation because in Brennan's case, he was very critical of Trump, and it appears that Trump is not only retaliating because of the Russia investigation and what Brennan believes is happening with Russia and Russian meddling, but he doesn't like critics, so he retaliates by revoking security clearance.
I have a lot of Republican Congress members and senators criticize it because I haven't heard a lot of that.
So Susan Collins is on the record saying, look, unless Brennan did something, I forget, illegal, right? Which I'm
like leaking classified information.
Yeah.
Then you would revoke a security clearance. But I could say that I think he's being too political, which Susan Collins says, right? I don't agree with her, but that's what she says. But that's not why you take away security clearance, because then you're doing it for political strike back, which you shouldn't do.
No Lindsey Graham, none of the others.
Bob Corker also.
Yeah. Bob Corker.
But of course, you make a good point, which is that a majority of the Republicans are like, yeah, whatever.
So
I don't want to oppose them, otherwise I'm going to lose.
Also, more than a dozen former US intelligence and national security officials signed a letter criticizing Trump for what they say is an ill-considered attempt to stifle free speech. So he is getting criticism, again, from both the right and the left. And here's what you need to know about what's going on in Trump's world. Everyone's praising him, everything's great, he's getting a pat on the back. Here's what he had to say.
I've gotten tremendous response from having done that because security clearances are very important to me, very, very important. And I've had a tremendous response for having done that. There's no silence. If anything, I'm giving him a bigger voice. Many people don't even know who he is, and now he has a bigger voice, and that's okay with me because I like taking on voices like that. I've never respected him. I've never had a lot of respect. Look, I say it again. That whole situation is a rigged witch hunt. It's a totally rigged deal. They should be looking at the other side. They should be looking at all the people that got fired.
I mean, you're being investigated for obstruction of justice. In interview after interview, in every video that I see where he's addressing this situation, he keeps talking about how he's revoking security clearance because of the Russia investigation.
Well, his tremendous response means that Sean Hannity called him, Jeanine Pirro called him, and Giuliani called him. Said, "This is you did the right thing. You did the right thing getting rid of this. Revoking his security clearance." And he is he said it himself when he went to North Korea, where he said, this thing might not work out, and then I'll say I was wrong. Well, actually, no, I'll find an excuse to find out, to say I wasn't. So he will never admit that he is doing anything wrong. And that's another problem that we have. We really have a man with a psychological problem in the office right now.
Yes.
So let's see if you think this is a tremendous response. Admiral McRaven, who was the commander in charge of Navy SEAL Team 6, he's the one that ordered and supervised the operation to get bin Laden, wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post saying, I would consider it an honor if you would revoke my security clearance as well. Because he said, you're not worthy, and other good leaders set example for others to follow. A good leader always puts the welfare of others before himself or herself. Your leadership, however, has shown little of these qualities. Through your actions, you've embarrassed us in the eyes of our children, humiliated us on the world stage, and worst of all, divided us as a nation. And lastly, he said, if you think for a moment that your McCarthy-era tactics will suppress the voices of criticism, you are sadly mistaken. So I don't think that it got a tremendous response. But in his mind, he thinks if it's good ratings, and some people told me some nice compliments about it, then I did the right thing. But even if you break it down, even if he had gotten a really good response, as in the press saying, hey, nice job, etc., that's not the reason to do it.
Right.
Could you imagine if Obama said, well, I took this action as president of the United States because people complimented me. Like I thought I did the right thing because I got praise for it. You would rightfully say that's not the point. You're not supposed to do things just to get praise. You're supposed to do them whether they're right policy or wrong policy, right? And he's like, no, it's okay. It's because it's all about Trump. I got tremendous response. So that's why I did this. And yes, Sarah Huckabee Sanders says, no, it had nothing to do with Russia. He comes out and goes, I did it because of the rigged witch hunt.
Yeah, he can't help himself.
Sarah, why do you bother putting out that statement when you know he's gonna say it's about Russia? Just don't embarrass yourself any further.
Yeah.
2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below. Then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.